What's up, witches? It's me, Luna, here with another deep dive test drive of a deck that just came into my collection on Mother's Day. And even though it's not really the season for it, I want to use this deck, so I'm unboxing it right now. And this is a classic, The Tarot of Vampires by Ian Daniels. And even though the copyright on this is 2010, it's funny how something can become a classic in 14 years, but it is. So, and I had it in my cart several times recently and then put it away, but then my daughter got it for me. So here we go. This is by Llewellyn, and on top it says 78 card deck and 312 page booklet. Holy crap. Page book, that's not a booklet. I apologize in advance for throat clearing. The pollen is horrendous here right now. Okay, embrace the night as you succumb to visions of blood-red roses and feel the impassioned rhythms of your feverishly pounding heart. The vampire legend is rooted in darkness and seduction, yet its eternal message is one of spiritual hunger, to taste the divine. How interesting. What an interesting frame there. Featuring Ian Daniels' richly evocative Gothic-style artwork, this hauntingly romantic deck is a tool for spiritual awakening. With it, you can plumb the depths of your inner shadows and emerge in the radiant light of truth. Inspired by the Rider-Waite structure, the deck shows the Fool, Priestess, and other traditional figures, while the suits bear unique names that call forth the mysterious and macabre: scepters, grails, knives, and skulls. The companion book provides detailed card meanings, creative exercises, original spreads, and instructions for creating your own vampire character. Oh, cool. The thing I'm noticing here, I see this box, it's like caved in on the bottom. And this wasn't shipped to me. We got this at Books A Million, so that's just kind of a weird thing. All right, so we have a magnet box. Oh, look how beautiful. And a ribbon pull to the giant book. Wow, and check it, you guys. The book has no images. This is all text. That's really something. And you know, it's funny because all the unboxings and reviews that I've done, and it never occurred to me, you know, you get a book and it's like, oh, look, full color images and everything. And then I saw somebody saying, you know, we don't need all those full color images to make the book that thick. And it's like, you know what? You're right. When I do appreciate full color images in the book is when they're big. You know, like you've got the deck and then you have a book that gives you big images so you can really see the details. Otherwise, though, I mean, I don't know that I feel passionately one way or the other about it. But let's look at the book. And yes, these just lusciously goth images. Step in, let's see if it's the same on the back here. Step into the rapturous world of vampires and let your imagination reveal hidden truths. Amidst darkly alluring images of coiled serpents, bared throats, and glowing eyes of fire, you descend into your deepest shadows. Only then can you arise to the radiant light of the divine. Discover powerful ways of using the Tarot of Vampires with this practical companion book. Enrich your experience with profound interpretations of all 78 cards, guidelines and tips for effective readings, unique spreads, exercises to enhance your intuition and understanding, and instructions for creating your personal vampire profile. Okay. We have and notice that the name of the book is Phantasmagoria. So one thinks that this may have been, I wonder, was this deck available like separately with a little white book and then this came and then they put them together? I don't know. A dark and stormy night, introduction and background, alchemy about the cards, the awakening, card spreads and exercises, kith and kin, personal card portraits, and then part 2 is the cards. Major, minor, and that's that. Part 1, Phantasmagoria, that is not dead which can eternal lie, and with strange eons even death may die. And that's H.P. Lovecraft from the Necronomicon. Oh boy. All right, introduction and background. Let's see how, wow. So this is an extensive introduction. I'll tell you what we'll read a little bit. Lightning slashed violently, shredding the black sky. Thunder raged and roared, blasting the dark mountains. Wild winds whipped the surface of the lake into a frenzy, and the rains lashed like a phantom, savage, ruthless, and bitter. It was indeed a dark and stormy night when a gathering of English literati agreed to each write a tale of supernatural horror. The group had gathered in the summer of 1861 at Via Diodati, Switzerland, close to Lake Geneva. As the storm thrashed outside, Lord Byron, Mary Shelley, John Polidori, Percy Bysshe Shelley, and Claremont recited haunting poetry and ghost stories. It was not only the blood-curdling wail of the night that chilled the blood and set hearts pounding. The stories they recited came from a book, originally written in German, that had recently been translated into French. This book was called Phantasmagoriana, and because of this gathering of writers and poets, it has a significant place in the history of English literature. The collection had its origin in Gespenderbuch, literally ghost book, a 5-volume anthology of German ghost stories. Over the coming nights, the writers set about creating their own tales of Gothic terror, the most famous of which became Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Her imagination fired by a nightmare in which a quote, pale student of unhallowed arts created the awful phantom of a man, end quote. A lesser-known story was penned by John Polidori titled The Vampyre with a Y, which is arguably the progenitor of the romantic vampire genre in English literature. Okay, then it goes on about the ghost book. And then we have a section on fear and the shadow. I'll read the first paragraph here. Fear is usually regarded as a negative emotion. One psychological explanation for fear is that it is a defense mechanism designed by nature to keep us safe. However, as a race, human beings seem to love being scared. Our predecessors paid to be frightened at a phantasmagoria show, and even in childhood we find ourselves not only not avoiding frightening situations and sensations, but seeking them out. We are bewitched by ghost stories. We like to be terrified. Perhaps we're seeking a deeper understanding of our fears, or of our part in the theater of life and death. Perhaps we enjoy the adrenaline rush that comes when we are afraid. From horror films, lantern shows, and the telling of nightmarish tales through time, to the rituals of our early ancestors' rites for the forest spirits, humanity has a deep curiosity for the all that is dark and mysterious. Okay. So it seems that experiencing fear in a safe environment, acknowledging our fears, facing them and recognizing them helps us to understand ourselves and to overcome those fears and see them for the illusion that many of them are. So they go on talking about horror. Then we have the shadow here. Dark side of human nature is often described as the alter ego, the id, or the lower self. Jung called it the shadow. By shadow, he meant the hidden side of the personality, the sum total of all those unknown or unpleasant qualities that we would prefer to hide. And then we have the hunger. In life, we yearn not only to integrate the aspects of ourself, but also to connect to that ineffable higher power. God, spirit, the divine, or any number of terms are used to describe this spiritual power. In Phantasmagoria, we call it the everlasting. Our spiritual hunger is a reflection of the everlasting's longing for us, an echo of divine desire which calls us back to itself, because the everlasting is in love with all its creations. At our core, we crave the divine light from which we were separated when we came into earthly existence, just as the everlasting craves our return. Although invisible to us, this divine light pulses like blood through all of creation. It's not bound by time or space. Vampire myth teaches us that times of hibernation and stillness are needed in order to regenerate and realign ourselves with the everlasting that pervades all of nature. I was thinking about the fact that, this isn't really vampire season that I'm shooting this in, and my light has just changed, so there. Because the days are really long, so this is like winter for vampires. Interesting. Okay, the blood rose. On the reverse of the cards, we find a red rose blossoming in briar stems. The rose is a symbol that has a rich and ancient history, symbol of purity, symbol of lust, symbol of transmutation, taking nourishment from the earth, turning it into a beautiful fragrant flower. The thorns represent suffering and sacrifice. Being a sign of life and death, the rose has been used as a sign of silence and secrecy. The term sub rosa, under the rose, refers to the demand for discretion whenever a rose was hung from the ceiling at a meeting in medieval times. Huh. In Egypt, roses were sacred to Isis. All right. So, then we have the nature of matter and time, the Tarot of Vampyres. Okay, so we have the court cards. Kind of interesting that in this nature of matter time, mystical thoughts, blah blah. The seed, fire, scepters, lords. The womb, water, grails, queens. Conception, air, knives, princes. Birth, earth, skulls, and daughters. Interesting. Seed, womb, conception, and birth. Then it talks about the Tarot of Vampyres. The courts have been changed. Kings are called lords, queens remain the same, knights are princes, and pages or princesses are here called daughters. The Tarot is our Wheel of Phantoms. Okay, so the swords become knives, skulls are... oh, wait! Oh, cups are grails. There we go. Scepters are wands, cups are grails, swords become knives, and the discs become skulls. All right. And we have about the cards. Holy wisdom is not light and thin like water, but dark and thick like blood. C.S. Lewis. Oof. Then we have, okay, the majors here, and we've got planetary and zodiacal correspondences, and then Hebrew alphabet. And we have the minor arcana, the suits, the suit cards, and so we have broken down through number what all the aces mean, the twos, the threes, that's always appreciated, and another table here where we have the astrological signs and the card that they resonate with, and then yeah, Aries, Cardinal Fire, 2, 3, and 4 of scepters. All right, so we've got tables with all the correspondences, then we've got court cards using Kabbalah and Tarot, and we've got the Tree of Life. So this is in depth, the paths, the Sephiroth. Wow, they go through the entire Tree of Life. This is good because I've been wanting to really look more at Kabbalah, and it doesn't catch me. And being autistic, one of the things, oh, hey, this is what's different. There we go. Hey. With an autistic mind, you know, we have our special interests that we just could spend 100% of our time on. And the opposite side of that coin is that if we're not interested, it's very, very difficult to try to absorb knowledge. If we're not there in the first place, it just bounces off. And I kind of have that issue, but I'm trying. Then we have alchemy and kindred spirits. The awakening card spreads and exercises. Shadow and light aspects, reading tips and guidelines. Deal all the cards in the spread face down, then turn them over one by one. Use your creative instinct to get an overall picture of the spread. Check for recurring suits, symbols, numbers, and colors. Majors, the role of the majors and minors. Majors, special cosmic influences, and the minors show personal fluctuations. I like that. Check. Read card explanations that I write down, and blah, blah, blah. All right, spreads. The soothsayer. The dark mirror. The blood trail. The book of shadows. Here's the book of shadows. Then there's an elemental cross, a trespass, forbidden fruit, the prophecy, and the labyrinth. That's the labyrinth. They don't show. So, for instance, trespass. Start by looking at the card. Choose one that relates to your question. Shuffle and deal 6 cards to the right of your chosen card. So there are varying numbers of cards. Then we have exercises, the manuscript, the dreaming, the vision, the shroud, and dark spell. Wow. So it talks about creating stories, look to our dreams for inspiration. Then we have personal card portraits. In the world of phantasmagoria, we all possess every element represented by the cards within the wheel of the tarot, but depending on our time and place of birth, each of us is in closer harmony with certain elements. The characters and fables of this burlesque are illustrated on the cards drawn from vampire myths. All right. Here you can create a personal portrait in Phantasmagoria. Use this portrait to see if special cards come up in a reading and how those cards interact. And that's a good thing to do. You know, you always want to find the cards that you really resonate with. My cards in the deck are the High Priestess and the Queen of Cups. But if you have, you know, particular cards that are very personal to you, it's good to be clear and to name them and to know what they are, because then when they show up in readings, it's something very special. And you can do that reading by reading. Like if you're asking a particular question and a card comes up in your mind, you can tell the cards, you know, show me this card to say that blah, 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 right? Okay, the portrait, the calling, dynasty card, vampire clan. So there's clans of each of the suits, there's a bloodline card, ancestry card, vampire court, and other cards. There's a lot here, you guys, that I am not going through. And here's all, this looks like all the decans of the signs. Then finally we have the cards. The oracle of the gods is the child voice of love in thine own soul. Hear thou it. Heed not the siren voice of sense or the phantom voice of reason. Rest in simplicity and listen to the silence. And that's Aleister Crowley, Book of Thoth. And I did find out that he pronounces his name Crowley, pronounced Crowley, because it rhymes with holy. Such a clown. Okay, then we've got the majors, and for each card we have alchemy, kindred spirits, essence, message, long message, analysis and symbolism. Wow. And then, which is also long, and then shadow. So one imagines the shadow is the reverse. And then let's go to the minors. Okay, minor arcana, and we go straight from the majors into the minors. So we have the world here, straight to the minors, ace of scepters, and same thing, alchemy, essence, message, analysis and symbolism, shadow. So there's an awful lot here, you guys. Let me see something. How do we end it all? Oh, we end it just the last of the minors is the Daughter of Skulls, and boom, done. So I don't see anything that tells us about the author. What I got here is the 8th printing of this deck. So we get no information about the author. Well, maybe in all of that writing we do, but let's go in close. Here we see those beautiful, just all bright and deep red roses with these thorns. Obviously they're reversible. All right, here's the Fool. The cardstock is very nice. It's thin, it's really bendable. I'm gonna dig these, not in the least bit thick. There's a little bit of a texture to them. It's not linen, I don't think. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it's not gonna pop in. But there's an interesting texture that makes them not entirely glossy. You can almost see it there. All right. So here's the Fool. And look how dynamic these images are. You don't really get the idea of somebody going off a cliff, but you get the idea of maybe somebody busting out of the grave. So this is like the first appearance. And look at how the arms here are echoed by the wings up above of the crow or the raven. And then we've got what looks like wolves down here, and the title. So we don't get numbers for the majors, which is a little sad, but here's the Magician. Wow. So we do see all the tools, and look at, he's holding a cross. That's kind of strange. All right. Okay, I'm going. I'm going, because I want to see how he's managing to hold across. Maybe it's that, you know, his power is setting it on fire rather than it's setting him on fire. I'm going to scan. Okay, analysis and symbolism. He symbolizes the initial act of will from which all things are created. He is the spark in the seed of the fool. He creates his desired outcome through determined action. He represents, okay, blah, blah, blah. All right, the blazing scepter contains the active power of the will and of spiritual creativity, while he holds in his other hand the grail of blood, a symbol of the unconscious, the vessel into which he mixes fire and water. This lifeblood, then poured, channeled into the wheel of the tarot, the sphere of the zodiac depicted by the large basin. He plants the fire seed of his desire in the realm of the subtle, unformed spiritual matter. Wow, okay. So they do mention this scepter, but it's just a scepter. They don't mention that it's in the form of a cross. Anyway, here's me worrying about this vampire getting burned, you guys. What the hell? All right. Then we have the priestess. Now, the book clues me into the fact that that's the priestess and the moon behind her, but it's not, you know, one-to-one from Waite Smith. We have a black candle. We don't have the columns or any of that. But I like that the book's floating in front of her. And then we have that front image of the Empress with the fruits above her. Are those apples? And the rose. And then the Emperor. I would like to see a little bit older of an emperor. He looks a little young to be, you know, ruler of everything. The ram skull-headed scepter, I like that. And here's the Hierophant. Wow. A woman and a wolf. And why does that? It's just a slightly Princess Leia-ish, and anyway. The Lovers. That's beautiful. And the Chariot. Oh, with only one big cat in the front. Looks like flinging blood everywhere, and the charioteers shooting, and this winged cat. Wow, cool. Here's Justice. So Justice is 8 in this deck. So we're not really going with Waite Smith. And I think it'll take an awful lot more reading to find out more about this. I hope they talk about all this, because there's an awful lot of writing. Here's the Hermit. Again, wolves, skulls. There's a Virgo sign there. Look at the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Well, you know I got a thing about spectrums, so that's gorgeous. Then we have the Strength card. That is also really beautiful. Ooh, this card's got a little, see that? A little ding to it. What the heck? And just that one. What happened? Huh. Then we have the Hanged Man. Oh my God. Look at that. Spewing blood like a fountain. Here's Death. Temperance. I am thinking forward to shuffling this. I'm really looking forward to shuffling it. There's Temperance. Here's the Devil. Wow. They're so dynamic. There's so much movement. And, you know, the darkness and the light. Look at the, so the tower that is being struck is this one way off in the distance here, as this guy issues forth from another tower. Here's the Star. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got one of those 7-pointed stars on her chest. And she's pouring things. Here's the Moon with the sickle knife. And the Sun, look at that. Wow. That's fascinating. So is this because he cannot, be in the sun? He's embracing her as the light. I mean, that's a beautiful image of like embracing your shadow. Here's Judgment. I have to look up because when oh, no, that's fine. But when the angle that I'm looking at, I've got a lot of glare. I'm glad you don't. And here's the World. Wait, I'm going to go back to Judgment. So yeah, it looks like he just came out of the grave, and then the World with the serpent. Ooh, they're beautiful. Now we have the scepters, and they're in the form of a cross. That's really curious to me. Except that one. That one's not. There's the 2. So we're not really seeing images that hearken. We've got an Aries symbol and there's Mars. The rest of these are just rings, but there's Mars. Don't really see that, looking out to the future. And there's the 3 of Scepters. There's a boat in the background. So some small references here and there. And we don't have pips, so we don't see like 3 scepters. Here's the 4. She's in a circle of blood, and there's like a wreath of flowers, but I don't know that we really get celebration from it, unless you already have that installed in your head. Then we have the 5. And look, she's holding that flaming cross up against the cat. That's really confusing to me, that it looks like a cross. As I've said before, here's the 6. Victory. And the 7. Standing your ground. Yeah, I'm not really getting a lot from the images. Here's the 8. So the idea of things flying through the air, well, there's that. And this time he's got a Mercury belt on. And there's Sagittarius going on up there. The artwork reminds me a little bit of Royo. I don't know if you've seen, I don't know if it's Fournier. Anyway, Royo. Here's the 9 of Scepters. So do we see like wounded in battle and boundaries? I mean, I guess that could be like a boundary. And then there's the 10. Oppression. Yeah, there really aren't descriptive illustrations. Then we've got the Lord, which is the king. We have the Queen with her cat. Okay, got that. The Prince and the daughter. I'm kind of bugged that it's Prince and daughter and not son and daughter or Prince and princess, because it seems like the page then puts women distinctly as underlings. That's the way it feels to me. Now we've got, ooh, look at the green. So I like that. There's a definite, definite palette for each suit, at least in the aces. Let's see how it goes. Ace of Grails. There's the 2. All right. I like the water pouring out, the fountain with the winged cat. I really like the winged cats. Here's the 3. Okay, party. Sure. The 4. Oh, that's gorgeous. Wow. She's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Bite me. Bite me. Here's the 5. That certainly shows some loss. And like a mermaid vampire. The 6. There's a Scorpio symbol. She looks young. I guess that tracks. Here's the 7. So, oh, look at that's Medusa. And she's got a Venus symbol hanging from her little chains. She's holding this snake by the head, and looking into this bowl of blood. So it's like divination. So you do kind of get the idea of looking into this vessel to see something, you know. Faint echoes. There's the 8. Look at the hands chained. Kind of little Witch King of Angmarish. There's the 9. And you do see green roses. So yeah, the color does track through. Here's the 10 with white roses. Then we've got the Lord, kind of looks like Ichabod Crane, the, what is it, Sleepy Hollow kind of guy. There's the Queen, my card, the Prince, and the Daughter. She's gorgeous. I mean, the images are absolutely beautiful, no doubt about it. So we have knives and yellow for air. That certainly tracks with my pagan background. Here's the 2. Ooh, that's good. We do have a blindfold, and look at her holding, you know, the knives like that. There's the 3. The white rose stained in blood sitting in the snow. 4. Oh, look at her. She's going up to this angel on the grave. Huh. And she stabbed her crow. How sad. There's the 5. So you get the idea of, you know, this creature, and she's sleeping, so she's vulnerable. There's the 6. And the 7, the 8. Wow. Interesting when they choose to show like the demon form versus the human form. So the 7 would be the thief card. I don't really get that. And there's this knife sticking out here, but nobody's holding it. The 8. And the water surrounded by lotuses. Here's the 9. She does not look particularly anxious. So again, beautiful images, but not really descriptive ones. There's the 10. Here's the Lord, the Queen, the Prince, and the Daughter. And then look at the blue and the skulls. Oh, that's gorgeous. So wait. Hold up. Scepters. Yeah, the grails are green. See, no, that's confusing now, because the grails are green, which I associate with earth. And the skulls are earth, but they're blue, which I associate with water. So that's going to be, I was confused when I first saw the suits, because I thought skulls was cups, like drinking from a, you know, skull cup. So this is going to take a little bit of getting used to for me. But you can see the pentagram clearly there. Here's the 2 of skulls. She's seeing like her vampire image in the mirror, or Capricorn symbol, 3 of skulls, the 4 of skulls, the 5, 6, that's very different looking. To keep reminding myself, 6 of Pentacles, okay. Payment, loans and debts. Does not track at all with the image. There's the 7. She's a bit furry. 7 of Pentacles. Harvest. Waiting for some, you know, patience. I just don't get. There's the 8. It's making it so I don't remember what the originals look like. So yeah, it's apprenticeship or practice. There's the 9. The 10. Lord, the Queen, the Prince, and the daughter. All right, let's give this a blessing. And watch it explode in flames. That's hilarious. Oof. Just missed getting burned. Let's see if I can get this to light. Of course I can. All right. By air and fire may you be purified and charged. Hey. Let's get the book too. And I think I need not say I'm not going to be reading everything that is written for each of the cards in the test drive I'm going to do. Oop. All right, got a little bit too much water there. There. By water and earth may you be blessed and made whole. And by the sound of the bell, may the Spirit awaken within you. The Spirit of what? The Spirit of this deck, the Spirit that the author wanted put into this deck. Guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, I welcome you here, and I ask for your assistance in bringing forth a message that will resonate with my viewers and will show this deck off. I invite this deck to show itself off to all of us with the fire of Azrael to awaken the spirit of divination. Let me put that there. Okay. Now, a shuffle. Looking forward to it because it feels like a regular deck. Yep. Hey, come on. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to give it 4 riffles with cuts in between, and then we will riffle, and of course what we're asking is just what we need to know right now as the collective, also as individuals, for whenever you're watching this. What do we need to know? Oops, okay, they don't want to go, they don't want to be shuffled anymore. When they start flipping out, they're like, we're ready to be dealt. Okay, let's see how this goes. We'll see how much of a good shuffle we got. So we have the Daughter of Knives, we have the 2 of Scepters, and the 8 of Scepters. Then we have the Queen of Grails, Justice, and the 7 of Scepters. So I would say we got a really good mix. We've got 2, 7, and 8 of Scepters. We've got Knives, Grails, and a Major. We've got Courts. So, pardon me, I would say a good mix. Let me pull these down. So I want to take an intuitive look first and see where that gets us, right? So Daughter of Knives would be like the Page of Swords. So we're talking about curiosity, intellectual curiosity. What is it? Come on. They're so thin that they overlap each other very easily. I'm not complaining about that. I like that they're that thin. Sorry that you're getting glare on her. But there she is, Daughter of Knives. So Page of Pentacles says we've got to take interest in a new way, a new level. And right away what springs to mind is me talking about Kabbalah. So intellectual curiosity. The 2 of Scepters says that we look to plan for the future. What is our big plan? We want to get curious about what's coming and developing a plan. So those two go together really well. The Daughter of Knives says I've got to, come up intellectually. Remember, the mind is the builder. I need some new ideas, and I'm very curious about where I can take these things. 2 of Scepters says I need a plan. And then the 8 of Scepters says once I got the plan, I'm going to jump out. But these coming on opposite sides here, it talks about that pull between a great deal of enthusiasm and wanting to go, go, go versus the need to plan something out before you go, go, go. So, Between Daughter of Knives, the curiosity, the idea, and making the plan, we have the Queen of Grails. So see, when I do a new deck and Queen of Cups, Queen of Grails, whatever comes out in the first reading, it's like that's my card, so it is speaking to me. Queen of Grails talks about being emotionally generous, you know, being very, very well acquainted with your emotional self and working from the intuition, really being able to trust your gut feelings on things. So between the idea and the plan, we got to bring in intuition and our gut feelings of which way we want to go, what plan do we want to build. Then between that idea and the idea of go, 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 justice says we have to keep things in balance. So a big part of our plan and what we want to build here has to be around how do we bring things back into balance? How do I justify things? And the word justify, when you think about justifying, it's like explaining something or validating something. This is why I'm doing it and it's a valid reason. But I also always think about when you're typing a document and it talks about justifying the margin. It means lining everything up so it touches that margin, right? So we are writing everything. We are bringing it into alignment, aligning everything. So we have to align our ideas and our energy and keep things in balance so that we don't take off running with no ideas, but we also don't just spend all our time in thinking about things without doing. But justice says we really need to bring those things into alignment. The mental activity, the forethought we're putting into things, and the energy we have to make them go. So intuition comes in and plays a big part in how we are aligning things, in sensing what's in alignment, what's out of alignment. Then we have the Seven of Scepters. So that's the Seven of Wands. That's the standing your ground. And I'm thinking once you get an idea, Daughter of Knives can talk about inspiration, a flash of an idea that comes in. And Seven of Scepters down here says protect that idea. You don't want to let it out too soon. And it's interesting that we have wands here, here, and here. Kind of, framing that triangle. So overall, it really is about the creative here. All right. Daughter of Knives. Scepters, we have Grails. All right. Daughter. All right. So Daughter of Knives, alchemy. Earthy aspect of air. Okay, that tracks. Page. Regulates Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Regulates. Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Wow, do I not get that? Okay, Prince just says airy aspect of air. And what I'm getting here, there was, I think it was Tarot of Spirit that showed the pages with like 3 different astrological symbols. And Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces is the last quadrant of a chart. Regulates, though. Kindred Spirits, Ace of Knives, the Princess of the Rushing Winds. Kindred Spirits, Princess of the Rushing Winds. Do we have a Princess of the Rushing Winds in this deck? I don't know. Essence, steady and secure thought. Fortitude, revolutionary, spontaneous, defiant. Victorious, vigilant. Resilience, resilient, honorable. Integrity, clarifying. Wow, there's a lot of keywords here. Clever, insightful, mental dexterity, elegant, studious, confident, controversial, rebellious, proud, iconoclastic, self-worth, clandestine, enigmatic, sacrifice, a revelation, announcement, or message. There's an awful lot of keywords there. Then we have message and quality. The Daughter of Knives represents the materialization of ideas. She is clear-sighted, insightful, and objective, and has rich intellectual clarity. She has great integrity and belief in her personal worldview. This makes her devoted to her cause as well as defiant and justly proud. She's rebellious by nature, though not in a chaotic way. She knows what she believes and knows her own power. Okay. We see the Daughter of Knives holding a black knife, which she has used in one final deadly attack to sever herself from self-criticism. That's interesting. Okay, so revolutionary, spontaneous, defiant. So we've got rebellious. We also have integrity, or insightful. Elegant is an interesting one. Okay, I gotta say, there are so many keywords coming at me here that I'm kind of losing the essence of the Page of Swords, which is the intellect and curiosity. Because like confident, I think that would be better in the wands or the scepters. Self-worth, there's so much information, it's confusing. Then let's look at the shadow. Revengeful, frivolous, stern, firm, destructive, logic, aggressive, controversy, dangerous, fearful or nervous, overanalyzing, worry, anxiety, repressed, tempestuous aggression, fragmentation, irrational, vehement. Okay, I'm just going to read the keywords with the rest of them, and then I'm just going to stick with the reading that I gave because I like it. So I think, can I get a reading? Yes, I can. But is it through, deep dive reading these things? I can imagine if somebody, like if this was one of the first decks somebody got a hold of, that it would be a tremendous foundation, a lot of study. But but for somebody that already has a lot of stuff in here, it's just sort of confusing me. Which also says that there's something new to be had. So, Anyway, the alchemy of the Two of Scepters is Mars in Aries, and we see the Mars and Aries symbols. Wisdom, Chokmah, of fire. The energy of spiritual creativity. Kindred spirits, Veluel and Deniel. Essence, the energy of will, dominion, conquest, command, strength, and power. Warlike energy, you certainly see all of that. Fierce driving force and dynamic impulse. Daring and pioneering. Proud or audacious, taking the initiative, original thinking, standing firm, persistence and tenacity, commanding attention and respect, justice and revenge, shamelessness. Wow. So you get this whole Mars and Aries thing. Very, very different from the Two of Wands. Very different. Two of Wands is not a card of action. The person is just standing there. They've got the globe in their hand saying, I have dominion over all that I survey, but I'm thinking, I'm not doing anything yet, I'm planning. And we don't see that here. We see this driving force and impulse, and but then standing firm. All right. So if we bring these meanings into the idea of the thinking, the confidence of thought that she's got, the rebelliousness, really wanting something new. What's a new idea that we can come up with, and how do I defend it? How do I put it across that's really gonna bowl people over, right? Then we have the 8, Mercury in Sagittarius, splendor, Hode of fire. Rhythm of spiritual creativity. So the rhythm of spiritual creativity. So all right, here's something interesting. I'm going to do a little side quest here. The 2 says energy of spiritual creativity. The 3 is development of spiritual creativity. The 4 is structure of spiritual creativity. The 5 is force of spiritual creativity. The 6 is equilibrium. The 7 is absorption. Oh no, wait. Yeah, 7 is absorption. The 8 is rhythm. The 9 is crystallization, and the 10 is manifestation. Fascinating. I'm going to see if this tracks through the rest of the suits. 2, energy of emotional intuition. The 3, development of emotional intuition. So we have energy, development, structure, force, equilibrium. Okay, so that's going to be very interesting to me. Just that structure of, all of the 2s are this, and then you channel that through the overall meaning of the suit. So with all this information and all these really diverse keywords, we have a way of boiling things down to a really structured essence. And I find that very appealing. All right. The essence of the 8 of Scepters, the rhythm of will, swiftness, rapid action, quick developments, high frequency, a grand finale, motion, speed, and purpose, receiving important messages, problem solving, intense flow of thoughts or creativity, excitement, travels and discoveries, realization of a spiritual truth, clarity, help and support from others. All right, so let's just keep going. Then we have the Queen of Grails, and she is the watery aspect of water. Kindred spirits are 10 of Knives, 2 of Grails, 3 of Grails. Okay, we don't have any of those. The essence is receptive and reflective emotion, ethereal, illusion, mirroring, sympathetic, unfathomable, virginal, purity, subtlety, imagination, unconscious, introspective, mysterious, beautiful, nurturing, healing, loving, demure, muse, hypnotic, ambiguous, patient, calm, sensual, delicate, emotional, romantic, oracle, or medium. Okay. Receptive, again, I read all that. Shadow, vagueness, confusion, fear, nightmares, chaos, self-hatred, irrational. So you can imagine this talked about self-confidence, and if that was upside down next to it, that would really be something. All right, so let's continue with justice here. Oh, justice is 8. All right, zodiacal trump of Libra. Venus rules, Saturn exalted, connects Geburah with Tifarth on the Tree of Life. The daughter of the Lords of Truth and the ruler of the balance are kindred spirits. The daughter of the Lords of Truth. So, it's mentioning things that aren't in this deck that are very curious to me. The law of karma, the essence of this card is the law of karma, centering, balance, and equilibrium, healing, precise judgment and coordination, equality, fairness, and being impartial, finding our inner center with full awareness and objective perception, destiny, accepting past actions and setting a new course, wisdom, legal matters, acquiring rewards, being accountable, and composure. So do we have, yes, we do have scales here. So the one of the things that justice really does indicate is the law of karma. And what is karma? It's cause and effect, shown by the scales. When I push down on this side of the scales, the other side has to come up. There's no two ways about it. Or they're not scales. They're not working as scales. So that equilibrium is cause and effect. When I do take this action, it has this effect, right? So whether we like it or not. So again, yes, we are bringing things into balance, the balance between that, but this is talking about aggression and warlike nature. So both of these really have that gotta go, but then we have to sit back, engage our intuition, and balance things. Balance this roar of energy with this sitting and thinking about things. But then we bring it into down to the 7 of Scepters. Mars in Leo, victory, Netzach of fire, absorption of spiritual creativity, and kindred spirits are Mahashia and Lilahel. Lilahel? The absorption of will. The absorption of will. The absorption of will. What does that mean? Valor, defiance, daring, taking risks, attacking from a defensive position, steadfast resistance, tenacity, bravery, quick actions. The power of regeneration, rivals, holding an immovable position, convictions, opposition, defending our beliefs or actions, expressing our own reality, taking a stand. So we do have that taking a stand. We've got the Mars symbol there, we've got Leo there. A valor, a force that's both defiant and aggressive. It's a defensive attack and represents our fighting spirit. So that whole fighting thing comes through all of these scepters. But at the bottom, again, I'm going to take that essence of that Seven of Wands, which is about standing your ground, about protection, self-protection, but sometimes that protection takes aggression. You have to be aggressive, assertive/aggressive about it. But what are we protecting? We're protecting the new ideas that we have. We're protecting our receptive nature here. And why? Because we want to bring things back into balance. So overall here, justice being the major, overall we talk about things having to stay in equilibrium between the emotions and the mind, and then this intense will. So to keep from just rolling over everybody, because these are both about attack and this is about defend, but we have to bring things into balance with the mind and with the intuition and the emotions. And ultimately we need to protect whatever ideas we're coming up with, so that when you have a new idea and you're really starting to work on something, you can be very excited about it, and if you share that idea with somebody, sometimes you get the response of, oh, well, you should do this. Oh, well, nobody's going to be interested in that. You should really wait. And they can undermine our confidence. We've got all kinds of stuff talking about self-confidence here, and that can be undermined by sharing things too soon, and then you're going to be in that position of defending your idea. Don't do that. Nurture it until you get to a place where it really is starting to plant and take hold. There's the star. Let's look at the bottom. And death. Ooh, wow. All right. The star and death. Hope and an ending. Well, for the collective here, I've got to say that we have to keep our hope alive that, the death principle is active. That's, everything has an end. And so that's actually good news when there's some really bad things going on. So it's like, stand your ground, hold firm to your ideas, even if they might be, these things could talk about things being under attack, even if they're under attack. And the death card is like, all things come to an end. Be hopeful. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to go further because this has been an hour. Oh my God, this has been an hour. All right, you guys, let me know what you think. I mean, it's a fabulous deck. I'm so glad to have it in the collection. How much will I work with it? We'll find out. We'll find out. But I'm just really thrilled that it's part of my collection. So let me know what you think. Is this one of your favorites? I am searching right now for a copy of the US Games Vampire Tarot, and it's out of print, and so help me out if you can there. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. Hit like and subscribe while you're on your way out, and I will see you next time. Till then, this is Luna. Blessed be.